Hey YouTube, Angie B here. So, I'm coming today with a tutorial. I was asked on my channel on a specific video about my little mini clutches and if I had a tutorial for them. I couldn't recall doing a tutorial on one of these. I don't think I ever did. I think I've done a journal cover tutorial, but I don't think I've ever done a tutorial on these. Now, I got this idea from another YouTuber and she made one or two. And I kind of went off of her idea and made a whole bunch. So I'm going to walk through my tutorial step by step. This might be multiple tutorials. I'm not quite sure because it does take a little bit of time to do if you want it to, flow. So what we'll probably do in this video is I will do the main cover for it and how that is constructed, because then in the inside comes the waterfall, and if you want to add a pocket in the inside, that's, things come with that too, and then it's the decorating of it. So we're going to start with the cover. Now, typically I use a file folder. This just, the file folders that you get from like Dollar Tree. This is typically what I would use because it already has these score marks in it. And it's good, pliable, well, it's not very thick paper, but after you add everything to it, your fabric and everything, it's still sturdy. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use a 12 by 12 sheet of regular, just white basil cardstock. And when I cut this, it's typically 12 1/4 by 8 1/4 when I cut the file folder, but for the purpose of this video we're doing it 8 1/4 by 12 because of course you can't get a piece of paper that's 12 1/4, and it doesn't really matter because all it does is take a little 1/4 inch off of this flap that holds it closed, so it's not a big deal. So I figured out the dimensions for it on a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So I've already cut it here. This is 8 1/4 by 12. And now we're going to score it. So I'll get my scoreboard. And we are going to score this cut piece of paper. I've already got the marks there because I was trying to figure out exactly where this was going to be scored. So first score is going to be at 4 1/4. Next score is going to be at 4 3/4, so that gives you a 1/2 inch. The next score is at 8 3/4. Where's my paper going up? 8 3/4, 9 1/8, and then 9 1/2. So that's going to give us our little trifold there. So then I'm going to go ahead and fold and score these. The only cardstock I had that was 12 by 12 is this basil, and I don't like the way it's cracking like that. Basil normally doesn't crack like that. For some reason it's cracking. I just find the file folders easier to cut down, and you gotta kind of cut them like in the center of them. You gotta find that fold and then work from there on. But like I said, you can do it with a 12 by 12 piece of paper because you do want it nice and firm. You can even use cardboard like I do for my journals. You can use cereal boxes. But with the clutches, I find it better with pliable paper because you want them to fold and open easily. So there we go. So that's how that's going to shut once we put the magnets on. Alright, think we're done with the scoreboard for now. That out the way. Now, this is our inside paper. We're going to wait for that. We're going to get our fabric cut to the size that we need it. So I use fabric. I don't use paper on these. It's the best thing to use because you want it to look like a purse. You want it to feel like a purse, but it's actually a little photo album. So I figured I'd cut this on here with you because when it comes to this, you have to have extra to cover your flap here to cover the magnets. Make sure I got this the right way. Yep. To cover the magnets. So let me get this down to a corner. And then I guess I can just measure from there. Start at the 20 and back pedal. So you want about a ½ inch. If you want to give yourself an inch on the edge, that's fine. But I give myself a ½ inch, a little over, you know. Just because you're going to need to fold it over and glue it down. So this is going to be about, what am I cutting this at? 20 to 7. Nope, we need the extra. So guys, I was about to mess myself up again. I gotta remember that. And I kind of like to cover, did I bring it all the way over the fold? Yes, I did. So what you're going to do is these 3 creases, you're going to actually go over the 3 creases and, you know, go over maybe about a ½ inch. So that's how I like to mark that. I just do this, come over about a ½ inch, and that's where my cut is going to be. Alright, got it that way. So now let's turn it this way. Get my cut. Where are we cutting? We're cutting about right there. I have a line to follow in this fabric. That's another reason it's a good thing about. I love getting, I went into my fabric bin trying to pick a fabric and realized I had bought so many new fabrics that I hadn't even opened. This is a brand new one I haven't even touched. So there is our fabric piece. Ow! Woo! Cricket scissors poked me for that. Okay. And remember, that's going to come over and over these edges. I mean, over these folds here, because when it folds, you want it to like that. All right. So now comes, let's go up more. Magnet placement, because the magnets have to go here and here, and before we cover it, we have to do that. So I was, in my other books, I would use the magnets. I get them from Walmart. Get like a big pack of these from Walmart. They're long strips. This is typically what I use, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to use my newer magnets that I use for my newer, stronger magnets that I use in my little photo albums I have made. Now, I hate dealing with these magnets because they're so strong. It's like, as soon as I mean, they're just so freaking strong. Like, seriously. I gotta get 2 of them apart. So I'm gonna put some tape on one of them on one side. I mean, they're just, get off my finger. They're so strong, guys. Yeah, I bought them to start making little mini albums, which I've had a lot of fun doing. But I haven't made one recently because they're just so complicated. Okay, so I've been sticking to cards, little things that don't take me long to do. Let me trim this off. If you have like little strings, just trim them off. They're going to be glued up underneath this paper anyway eventually. So, oh, hold on. Alright, so I'm back. So I put one of these magnets on. Let's get the other one on. I gotta take this paper off. The tricky paper, I'm running out of tape that I bought from Amazon. So with these, I want them about maybe like, 2 inches from the inside, the outside of each. Kind of want them in the center. Let me get another piece of tape. Because then, this is how I do it, guys. Like, that was the one thing I was like, okay, this is like tricky. This is really tricky on how to get these magnets in and to stick. Okay, so now I gotta take off this paper without anything crazy happening. See, this is I guess that's why a lot of people just use regular tape. But I use double-sided sticky tape because I don't want the magnets. Get it here. I'm gonna have to hold it. I have to hold it first and then put it down. You can't always use glue. Hot glue is not going to hold hot glue is not going to hold these magnets down. Wish it did. I don't know what it is with hot glue and metal. It just doesn't like to properly adhere. Learn that. Could use Beacon E6000. Didn't think about that. So there's our magnets. Make sure this is lined up to where you want it, and then press it down. Just make sure it's straight because you don't want to crooked. The magnet's going to crooked. There we go. Press that tape down. And then you have your magnets. So now that we have our magnets, we can cover our thingy now. Tricky the tricky part. Yeah, okay, miter your corners. We all know what that is. Take your little corners out here. That way when you fold it over, you don't have, all that excess. I always just eyeball mine, because at the end of the day, if there's anything left over, it can be tucked in, chipped away, whatever. Remember, you always want to keep like that half-inch half-inch edge for your fold over. I could have pressed my fabric, and I might press my fabric. I might turn them a little crooked. Mini iron and press this fabric before I go any further. Yes, I think I am going to do that. And I'm not going to make you guys wait for me to do that. So I'm going to pause this video and I'll be back. Okay, we're back. So press that out a little better so I don't have to worry about that. Now, here is kind of like your preference, but here's my suggestion. I would typically lay this down. I'd lay this down with tacky glue. But you could also, like, I'm going to put some tape around these edges just so when I pull this over, it's more secure. So I use double-sided sticky tape, and then, but I don't like to go over those creases. And then I'll use my Fabri-Tac to glue the fabric down. Haven't used my Fabri-Tac in a while. I had to turn the bottle over and let it kind of leak down, and I'm hoping that it even cooperates with me because I have not used it in quite some time. I'm not going to worry about that up here because that's going to be mainly glued with Fabri-Tac. So whatever your preference is. And what I like to do first is get these side edges over first. Ooh. Because I want this top big flap to cover those side edges. So get the top and the bottoms on first. So I am just going to hopefully be able to squeeze my Fabri-Tac out. If not, we're going to be turning to Barely Arts glue for this one. Or I have my hot glue gun on too. That works just as well. So you know what? We're going to turn to the hot glue. I just forgot. I just remembered that. Hot glue works as well. But you don't want a lot. You don't want it really, you know, puffy and bulky. So just go one little area at a time. And another stick. You can use hot glue as well. And another reason you can use hot glue is because I put the double-sided sticky tape too. Oh, and that's another thing. When you do this, please make sure that your things are lined up. So, got you in frame. Just making sure. Yeah, fabric likes to move. Just push those up, push those down. If you want to cut off the excess there, you're more than welcome to. It's fine. You can do that. Now I'm going to come up to these little, this little edge up here. Down. Make sure that corner is covered. Alright. Now before you go pushing, just make sure that's good like that. Alright, now we can cover, I'll come to this side, pull this one off and cover it. like making these. They're a lot of fun to make. You know, just take a lot, you know, figure out what you want to do, what you want to roll with. Always use everything, like everything in my stash. It's like I just go to my stash. Sorry if I bumped the camera there, guys, but kind of doing this at a really weird angle. Alright, so that's that. I'm gonna come over here. And you can also glue like all on the back of this if you want, like if you were using your Fabri-Tac. You could have glued this, but because I'm wrapping this all around kind of tight, I really feel there's no need to glue them down. Really no need for it. So here, and with my hot glue, I take a little bit at a time because you know that crap dries so quick. Fabri-Tac dries pretty quick too. It's like if you don't put that stuff down when oh sorry, see, keep hitting this. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do this in separate things because I'm gonna have to clear some space apparently out of my gallery, which I've already done. Just kind of swirl it all around there. Then I'll get to the edges in a minute. You could also use double-sided sticky tape, like sometimes I use that. And here I'm just gonna kind of like that. One little strip on each little thing. You just want to push this down as evenly as possible because you don't want a bunch of bunches once it closes. Hit it again. There we go. And this is like our last ½ inch that's gonna go under the paper or pocket if you wanted to make a pocket. See, let's check for any bunches. See a little bunch right there, so I have to put some hot glue there. See a little bunch right there, so I need to put some hot glue there. Flatten it out. Don't want a bunch of bunches. Let's see. Now that's better. Now it's not bunching up on the inside when it's folded. So there is that. Now let's make sure our magnets are still in place. Yes, they're still there. Okay, now you can pick a paper to go with your fabric, coordinate with your fabric, however you want it to go. So I am going to use this pretty ombre fabric from the ombre paper pad. And we're gonna take some measurements here because I'm not even quite sure exactly what they are. So I want about, you know, 1/4 inch of the fabric sticking around. And keep in mind of your last fold here, your last fold there. So with this ombre, about 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. So I can never remember what I cut this at, and I keep hitting the camera. There we go. So we're gonna cut this at, it looks like 8.5. No, I'm gonna cut it. It looks like 8 1/4. Or should I make it? Yes, we are going to cut it at 8 1/4 by 8 that's not straight. 8 1/4 by 8 is what I'm going to cut that at. So, let's get that out again. So, 8 1/4 this way. And I want most of the top half, so by 8. Did I do that the right way? Yeah. Is it like, no! Cut it wrong. 8 1/4 by 8. I should have left that out because I'm probably going to need to score on those marks. Because I don't think they're going to be centered. So what I like to do, just so I know where I need to score, because it's not going to be, you got to kind of just take it and line it up where you want it, and then figure out where your score marks go from there, because you want to be able to fold that paper. Good. All right, so we're going to score here and we're going to score here. Can I do that on my mini board? Let's see. I think I can. Just pull over the mini board. You just want that to flow. On the mini board. Fold them over. This I'm just gonna use probably God's glue. I'm not sure. Well, you know where your center is. I'll erase those pencil marks in a minute. Alright, I'm going to take some double-sided sticky tape, run it right down the center. Is this one wide enough? I'm just knocking things down. Where am I placement? There. This one I'm just going to make 2 waterfalls. I'm not going to do a pocket in it, but I will explain how to do the pocket. It's really not that complicated. It's just adding another piece of fabric. That's really all you're doing. So, I'll take this off. Let me get my Barely Arts glue. Start in the center. See, I'm just throwing things everywhere, right? Come on. Okay, I'm gonna be funny. Stick it. Got it. Wow, it's already for something. Alright. And then make sure you have the space that you want at the top and the space that you want at the bottom before you go sticking it down. About a 1/4 inch. And I know you as crafters can do that. Press that down. Erase those lines in a little bit. And we're going to take these off. Oop. I need to push down this fabric a little bit with my hot glue, because that is sticking up too much. I want you to be flat. And do that before you go sticking this down if you see anything that needs to be put down. Wow, this video is at 30 minutes. Make sure you put enough glue on there. Looks like I'm off a little bit, just a smidgen. Don't know what happened. Maybe the center went down a little crooked. But I see, it's like you just gotta be very mindful of when you're putting things down. And just like with a journal, you gotta do this. Take your folder, get it all over it. Alright. Take this. Looks like I might be able to fix this offness here. I think I may have. I love this Barely Arts glue. I've got to buy a refill bottle. ASAP. I don't want to run out of it. It's hard to sometimes not get a crease in these things. So I should have. Man. Oh, that was a flop. I wish I could rip it up, but I can't. Not with this tape. It's gonna rip the paper. So you want to try to avoid things like this, the crease. And my suggestion to that is work from the inside out. And I did not do that, so I just kind of bubbled it up, which I did not mean to do. But I'm trying to fix it as best as I can. Journals are tricky. You really don't want that crease in there, but sometimes it happens. I hate when it happens, but sometimes there's nothing you can do to fix it. There's really nothing that you can do to fix it unless you want to just rip the whole thing apart and try to start from scratch. No, that's not happening. So what I'm going to do sometimes this fixes it. Stick a little hot glue in that bubble and your problem is solved. Now I gotta get that hot glue off the fabric. I'm a little overboard. Sorry guys. Sorry guys. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes, yeah, that's a good thing. That's another thing about the hot glue that I do like. I can fix little imperfections like that. It's like, oh, okay, just stick a little hot glue in it and, bam. Problem solved. Got the bubble out. You don't see it anymore. Okay. Let me just fold, then make sure. There we go. See? It took it out for the most part. All right, so that is, let's bend, bend, bend. Get our bend in there. Get our bend in there. Where are my magnets? Alright. Now that your fabric's on, really bend it. Your paper's on. You can bend it. And there we go. We have our cover. The start of the mini clutch. Okay, since this video is already 36 minutes long, I am going to end it here. But this is the basic cover for the start of the mini clutch. And then I'll come back with the part 2. Hopefully, I don't know if I have to make a 3 or not. We'll see. But part 2 will be doing the inside and maybe even getting the outside done. Alright, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.